All right, so last we talked a lot about like the different conflicts in Jane's life and the different things she was dealing with. At this stage in the game, what would you say is like the biggest thing weighing on her?
I would say the biggest, well, she's a few things weighing on her. She's definitely at a crossroads of her career, because now, becoming a woman and now having a baby coming into play, she also wants to be financially, there's one thing about the Via Nueva women is we work hard.
Right.
We're hard workers, and like we're not afraid of hard work. And Jane definitely isn't, and Jane wants to get her career on path, whether it be teaching or writing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, she's in the next few episodes, she's making the step as a teacher,
Yeah.
even though her dream is to write.
Hmm.
Is that going to change at some point?
Well, I think, I mean, it definitely is because it's that human shift of, okay, this is what I said I was going to do, and then that bite of like, okay, but this is what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful that she goes through that because she has a mom who's following her dreams.
Right.
And a grandmother who works. So it's like, it's great that she gets to see the two. And it's also, I think, wonderful for the audience to see somebody that is battling stability versus dream, passion. And it doesn't mean that passion can't be your stability. Doesn't mean that your dreams cannot be your stability.
Mhm.
But we live in an industry where, or we live in a world and a culture where because it's not as safe, maybe it's not something that you should be doing. And Jane definitely grew up in that world. So that's going to be a huge, heavy thing on her heart and going back and forth, which I love because, I mean, I followed my dreams. So
Right.
I'm like, come on, Jane, follow your dreams.
But she also now has to worry about this
a baby.
baby and whether,
And rightfully so.
regardless of what her role is after it's born,
Yeah.
the next few months, what's the
Yeah.
best thing?
Yeah, and what kind of examples is she going to want to set on her child? Because her mother definitely set an example. My mother set an example on me with, obviously there are a lot of things I don't want to do the same like my mother. But my mother being able to chase her dream is very strong to me. And it's actually something that's extremely empowering. So it's going to be interesting to see Jane kind of teeter between the two and have such a support system for it. Another thing is going to be pregnancy. Pregnancy issues, complications.
Right.
That is very touchy and emotional and real and
Right.
very real. And our wonderful writer Jenny took a lot from her own life, and so because how much I love Jenny, that becomes even more real to me as an actor, and also portraying that fear and that connection with something that's unknown and not even born yet. And, seeing all the women around me that have had children and how much that means to them. It's important for me to relay that, correctly.
Well, you mentioned what's stable and what's the dreams, and you just mentioned, the complications of pregnancy, and that I'm going to connect something that maybe I shouldn't be connecting, and you
Please.
tell me the decision she makes regarding Michael and Raphael. Do you feel like that plays into, maybe Michael is a stable, safe choice, and maybe she needs to chase the unknown? Do you feel like maybe her hormones are affecting some of her decisions? What can you say about, what's about to come for the triangle?
Well, what I can say is that Jane doesn't go through Jane goes through everything I think any human being would. They don't leave anything out, which I love. That's what I love at our writers. And you definitely hit it on the nail. Jane has been looking at her career, this like stability, teaching,
Right.
dreams of writing. It's very much so the vision of like Michael's the teacher, Raphael is the writer. He is like that dream versus the stability, and how now all her plans that she had set up are thrown out of whack. It's like, well, hold up, then what have I been doing this whole time, right? And like I think any of us would be like, okay, wait a second, hold on, I've been so safe, I've been so this, and now what's going on?
Right.
Maybe I need to take that leap. Maybe I need to take a jump. And is it going to be the best thing? And maybe it will, and maybe it won't. But it's going to be really nice, I think, for the audience to see that Jane is not void of like feeling everything, going through everything, and being like, well, F it, I'm going to try it too.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm going to go for it too. And why shouldn't I? And I think that there's definitely a little part of Jane, right now, and when she started having those feelings for Raphael, it was like, why couldn't I have a man like that? And I think we all feel that way at times, like, forget what the world says. Why can't I have that? Why can't I have my dreams of being a writer? Why can't I have the like the handsome, wealthy man that
Right.
owns a hotel, but that has mad problems that we, we don't know about. But I love that about that, and so nobody's going to sit in the audience and say, well, come on, why wouldn't you, like,
Right.
she goes through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you at a point where you feel like the focus shouldn't be on Team Michael, Team Raphael, it should be on Team Jane, or do you feel like it plays out in a way that, like, no, there's still going to be a lot of back and forth, and rightfully so, before you can get to a place where, like, she has to go through things with each of them before she can get to a place?
Yeah, I think that it's that woman nature, right? What your instinct is. She has to go through it, and she has to take risks to see if what she chose was right. And maybe she's going to regret it, as we all have. Maybe she's going to revisit it. Maybe she's going to shoot it down. But what's beautiful about Jane is she's very honest. So even if what she's doing may not feel like the best thing or be the best thing, she's not going to lead someone on.
Right.
She's not going to toy with somebody's emotions. She's not that person.
She's not. And yet some of the things that they do, I think, could easily toy with her emotions.